let's continue the conversation. We're talking about TikTok. I showed my mom how to make a TikTok video. Mm-hmm. She proceeds to make TikTok videos. She's had her account. Okay, let's just. I've had my account for 3 months. I've made like 9 videos, right? I've got 12 followers. All right, 52 likes.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to my mom's profile.
And explain to me exactly. I've heard of TikTok. I'm not a current TikTok user.
So
what exactly is TikTok? Is it like Instagram version 2?
In a way, but it's like you can do silly voices and silly like video things, like effects and things like that. And it's really centered around music.
So it's
more than anything, like the sounds.
So it's like Instagram plus music plus the photo booth thing.
Do you remember Musical.ly?
Yeah.
Okay, they bought Musical.ly.
Okay.
And revamped it, redid it. Everything.
Okay, I'm tracking. You got
Businesses are actually using it, and if you're not using it as a business, it's kind of like where Facebook was in 2012. Like you could get organic volume of traffic.
We've talked about using it at the church, but all of us are too old to actually have personal accounts on it.
I don't think so. My mom's in her 50s. All right. Again, 52 likes on all my videos, things like that. My mom, in less than a month, has 1,340 followers and over like 19.7 thousand likes. She posted a video last night that has, 27.1 thousand views. It has 1,471 likes and 12 comments.
That is insane. Is that because of hashtag stuff?
No, that's just because it's dog videos. Look at this. It's all dog videos.
But I'm saying, how do people land there?
Well, they, like...
If it's not following hashtags.
Okay, getting a little nerdy about it, the algorithm is actually very good because every 8 videos is a newly uploaded video. So, like, something could go viral pretty quickly. She had something... This was an interesting phenomenon. She had something she posted very early on that, like, all of a sudden, it hadn't gotten a lot of likes and views. But then one person, like, saw it, picked up on it, commented kind of like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you dressed your dogs like that, like hating on her.
Yeah.
And it blew up. She was like, within an hour, she had over 99 notifications from TikTok.
So then, since it blew up, did the first person who was kind of a hater, did they just get crucified by all the comments from that point forward?
Most of the comments were good, positive things. There were a few negative comments, which is like anything on social media. So, like, my mom, though, is having to go through this phase, I don't know what you call it, where she's like, I don't know what to do. Like, she's calling me constantly. She's like, I just put out this video about this thing and everybody loves it. And she was like, and it's funny now because, like, I feel like I'm managing her in a way because I've been waiting for this day since I was in college.
Your mom just became an influencer.
I know, and it pisses me off because I've been trying since college, right? Like, I've been trying so hard. So she's called me the other day. And she's like, I posted this video. I thought it was hilarious. Like, I thought it was genius. And nobody really liked it. But then this random video I posted got so many likes. I was like, okay, but you need to play into that. You need to, like, create more content around that if that's what people like and play into that. She was like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And she's like, I just don't know why people like that. And I was like, also, the things you're getting hate on, make more of that. Because that's how the algorithm, that's exactly how the algorithm is.
Because people are interacting with the content.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's the game. That is YouTube, social media of any kind.
That's fun.
That is the game.
So are you having your mom on the podcast to talk about what it's like to be an influencer in your 50s?
No. Maybe if she was a male, maybe.
It could be like the woman. Like, just put it in some brackets.
Yeah, it's so odd having your parent blow up on social media. But I'm like, sponsorships are next for her. Like, 24,000 views in less than a day. Sponsorships are next.
You think that she could get a sponsorship off of that?
I think she could, like Petco or these dog brands. Did you know So talking about stocks, we go back and forth about stocks every once in a while. Petco and pet health insurance stocks have always risen, even during recessions, because there's no health insurance for pets, but the companies that do have this insurance type thing.
Plot twist, they do have health insurance for pets now.
Do they?
It's insane, but yes, they do.
I mean, it's insane. I'm not going to get Buster health insurance. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Wrigley, it's just going to be a bad day for Wrigley.
It's just going to be a bad day. My mom hates me for that comment.
Yeah.
Right? She's like, because I think Mom's got like 6 or 7 dogs now. Like she helps the shelter.
And she's not a breeder.
No, she's not. She actually helps a specific, like, there's a crew of them that help naked dogs, the like hairless ones.
Okay.
And she like helps transport them to and from owners and things, like, so that they have better homes.
That is an interesting niche.
It is definitely a niche, and like, she's a lot of times going to like North Carolina and Kentucky and things like that.
That means she'll always have good opportunities for those videos on TikTok.
But then, so she was like, she's got a friend at the vet. One of her good friends works at the vet there, and they've been trying to talk about heartworm prevention, and like they've been trying to inform people. And I was like, Mom, you've got a platform now. Like, use that. And she goes, oh my gosh, that's a good idea, right? Like, she could talk about, like, she said her friend's got like a jar of heartworms, and I'm like, show that puppy on TikTok.
Like formaldehyde?
Yes. And I was like, show that puppy on TikTok. Like, people would eat that up.
I'm not trying to be rude right now.
No, you're good.
I want to look something up. Is this acceptable for the sake of the format?
This is absolutely acceptable. I think this is a great starting topic.
You mentioned the stock thing earlier, and we don't have to do this now, but I've got an experiment that I've been running.
Okay. I'm going to pull mine up too.
I've got an experiment I've been running since August 6th.
Okay.
That to date has returned 42.62%.
Nice. So my all-time is like 21%. It's like $48 or something. And like, I just like am barely tipping my toe in it. Because I don't want to put like a lot of money in it. I think Todd Sadowski is going to come on in a few podcasts. I think it's like next week, isn't it? Like late next week. Yep. And I'm excited about him. But he was like, look, like at a max, I'd put like a couple of thousand or something like that in.
Yep.
But like, that would be it.
Well, because it's high risk to do it.
Yes. Yeah.
In the way that I'm doing it.
Yeah. But you're using Robinhood too, right?
Yes, but I'm also not putting like my livelihood on the line.
Exactly.
It's more of a game at this point.
What are you in?
The USO.
That's right. We talked about that.
United States Oil Fund.
That's right. We talked about that.
And that's it. Just the one.
Okay, so I'm in AMD, which is
take that
computer
back.
processing.
And this might have to get edited out, but I am.
No, we don't edit here.
Well, here we go.
Here we go.
I've also I'm split. USO is like probably 85%, and the rest of it is in a cannabis company in Canada.
Okay. Yeah. There's a lot of those popping up, though.
But it's very, no matter how you feel about it as an industry, it's very profitable.
Right now, it is hugely profitable.
Yep.
I'm wondering when it won't be.
Well, it's all in the research, right?
Yeah.
You got to know, like...
That's true.
You've got to do your homework on the individual company. If you just shoot blind...
Yeah.
I think the internet's going to stay to be around. I'll invest in any digital company.
Well, so
that's
like...
probably not going to go well for you.
Let's see. AMD, which is computer chips. Mm-hmm. I'm betting against Intel. AMD is like in a lot of the virtual reality headsets and things like that, and the new PlayStation and the new Xbox. You know what I mean? Like, it's definitely better there. And so I'm like, okay, I'm betting against that, or I'm betting for that. I'm going with this thing called Terraform Power, which is like renewable energy.
Okay.
Like at some point this decade, that's going to blow up, I feel. I don't know when, but I like with all the electric car stuff happening now, it's like it's just bound to happen.
Yep.
And then Dynatrace. So this is like probably a little known type thing, but they are pretty much the person underneath all the sheets of like URLs, the internet. They do a lot of infrastructure type stuff for big companies, and like it's already returned quite a bit there. And then I got a free stock the other day from Robinhood. It's At Home. I'm pretty sure it's a magazine. They do like
no, I think At Home is a store.
At Home Group. Yeah. Home decor superstores.
Yeah, I feel like they have one in Little Rock. Actually.
They gave me. Well, I had a friend join Robinhood, and he used my thing, and it gave me a free stock for At Home, which is already like
how much is the
$6.10 right now.
Hey,
I got it when it was like $5.
Look at you.
Look at us.
Look at us.
Look at us.
Okay, so I don't know the percentage of your listeners that are into stock, so it might be boring them to absolute tears. But we do have to talk about where you been, bruh. Yeah,
where have we been? Well, the simple answer is Devin had a stroke.
That'll do it.
That's the easy cop-out answer.
The brakes.
I'm going to be honest. That's actually the cop-out answer is, yeah, Devin's had a stroke, so we, paused for a while.
Well, I know that Devin is like the Jamie of this thing, but I do have to ask, Devin, are you good again?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Yeah, he's doing real well. But, that happened in November. We haven't done a podcast since August. So there's still a gap there.
Well...
I mean, August to November.
Nobody's gonna fight you on that, though.
Well, yeah, exactly. Well, that's the thing. Nobody would fight me if
where you been? Had a stroke. All right.
Yeah, Devin had a stroke, and it's like, oh, okay, oh my gosh, and it turns into worry. But that's actually the cop-out answer. It's actually not because Devin had a stroke at all. To be honest with you,
you were just willing to leave him behind.
No, I wanted to for a second, and I was like, no, that's not the real answer, right? The real answer is I've been lazy. And also, I guess it's been scheduling things. I don't know.
All that said, though, from our previous conversation, you're about to start cranking out the jams. We're doing one today. You got one tomorrow.
Yes.
You got one next week.
I think the thing is, I really enjoy doing this. But Devin is the counterpart that is like, okay, we need to get people scheduled. We need to get something on the books. We need what do we want to do in February? He's the organized one. He's the organized one, and he's much better.
He subtly nods in agreement.
Yeah, that's true. Him being out for a little bit. Definitely did add something because well, who else is going to film it? Because I was just it's just not. Devin. When did you start doing stuff with this? Was it? It was in the summer.
Yeah, summer.
It was in summer, midsummer, early summer, June or July. I can't remember which one you started with, but it's already he's kind of crafted kind of the style and okay, I want this particular shot and I want this particular lighting. And he's crafting that eye for it, and
you would mess it up if you tried.
Exactly. If I tried to do something, I could try to put it together and then edit it, but it just takes a long time. The reason we do it the way we do it is so that it doesn't take up as much time to do it. A lot of post editing, we do a little music thing at the beginning and end of the thing, and we just post it.
Gotcha.
And then we'll do clips and stuff. But yeah, it would just take too much. But we are doing more podcasts. So we've got you today. Tomorrow we've got Phil Kramer, who's the new Crossgate pastor. I know I said I wasn't going to have pastors on this podcast, but he's got a very interesting background, coming from military and jumping out of airplanes and stuff.
Yeah, I have a dear friend who was a pastor for a season. He's in Marketplace now, but he was a ranger.
Yeah, he was in the Rangers. Paratroopers and Rangers. Okay. Maybe that's the same guy.
No, it's not.
Okay.
My friend's name is John.
Then we got Ton Sadowski coming next week. And he's going to talk about finance, everything else. I've been looking to him because, with the company I work for now, it's just they've got a lot of stock and stuff. Like you get stock and everything else.
Yep.
And so I'm like, okay, how do I handle this? Like, how do I go about all this? And then also, how do you retire? I know nothing about retirement, right? Like, what do I need to do now to be able to retire and kind of like have a certain life that I think I want? It could completely change in 2 years or 20 years. Like, but like, I'm starting to think about that. And then like, I want to kind of reach like people like my brother who are in their 20s and be like, what can they do? Even though they don't make a lot of money right now because they're in college and things like that. Like, what steps could they be taking though? And then talk about like getting out of debt, things like that. I know that's a big topic for some folks is just the amount of debt that people have. So that's going to be an interesting podcast as well. Cool. I feel like that's going to be a good one. The one with Clint was great. I think everybody really resonated with that. He is now, by the way, for people that are kind of like wanting to keep up with Clint, they left Saturday, wasn't it? It was this past Saturday. So, I mean, it took...
So he's officially there.
Vanuatu.
Wow.
I don't know that he has any of his stuff with him. I think they sent it ahead of time, hopefully.
Like on the big shipping container thing?
Yeah. But they're there now, and I really want to take a trip out there and kind of like do a podcast out there. That'd be great. Do a follow-up podcast. But it took him like 4-5 months though, to get out there.
Yeah.
Which took a lot of coordinating. A lot of things came up.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I can't get myself in that headspace.
Yeah.
What that sort of life change is like. That's been a long time in the making for him too.
Yep. Yeah, it has. So I think 2020 though, what we're expecting to do in 2020 is we're wanting to get better in a number of different ways. The first way, we want to get better at like having people on, but also getting different views and perspectives on. Like we want people of all backgrounds and everything else, because like there's experiences that I've never had and that Devin have never had that people go through, and we don't want our own like biases to get in the way of talking about those experiences.
You want diversity in conversation.
Exactly. And so we're trying to figure out what that looks like. I think one of the things, like a mental health awareness month, we're going to have like dads with, mentally deficient children come on and talk about what are the struggles of working through that. Like, How did you do that? I think, what was the other one? Father's Day. We want to try to have a Father's Day. So that's why we're in my kitchen, because like we're trying to think about like how can we fit more people. That wasn't going to happen in my office.
More round table.
Yeah, exactly. Gotcha. So like, there's a couple of people there that we could have like a couple of people here, and how do we have more discussions about like fatherhood, things like that as well, marriage. I think one thing we're wanting to do next month was have like me, which is your stereotypical like guy that got married and it's been 10 years, and then like somebody that's in their 30s but is single, and then have somebody that's been divorced and is now remarried or dating again. Like, get people from different backgrounds there and kind of talk about dating, talk about marriage, and talk about like experiences learned. I think that would be things like that.
Gotcha.
Is what we're shooting for. Yeah, it'll be interesting for sure. Yeah. And then I think I was
just gonna let that linger for a little bit.
I think we're gonna try to shoot for at least one a month, maybe 2 a month. I mean, like we're doing 3 technically this month, so we're trying to really cram it in and push
crank
ourselves.
Out the jams.
And then we want to upgrade equipment and things like that as well. Get better.
Got to get some of those TikTok sponsorships.
Yeah, got to get some TikTok sponsorships.
Come on, Audio Technica.
Yeah,
are you listening out there?
V8 Energy, hook me up. Like, I'll sit here and drink these all day.
Yep,
I can do it already.
Or an incredibly overpriced cup company. You hear that? Looking for some sponsorships.
It's Yeti.
I'll let you guide this. I don't want to take over.
No.
In hindsight, I don't think I would have bought this cup.
Why?
I mean, it serves its purpose, right?
I was going to say, it does keep hot things hot and cold things cold.
In this case, cold things cold. But, man, there are cups that'll do the same thing for like a third of the price. Now, I was an early adopter.
From, like, China?
I don't know where.
Like, like AliExpress, that type of thing?
No, just like...
Oh, just on the market?
Yeah, just...
Oh. Well, I know you can get them for like $3 on AliExpress. Oh. But I don't know if they got like lead in them or what.
I haven't ever purchased anything from that.
Have you heard of like there's this business model where you find like some product or something that's really popular, like on AliExpress, you build a Shopify website to drop ship it, and then you make a profit because you buy it for like $3 and sell it for $15.
Yep.
How do you feel about that?
I mean, it's a free market.
So. Exactly. That's my feeling. But that's controversial. I found that people are like, that's deceptive. But I'm like,
in the era, in the area, like the era is what I'm trying to say of Google.
Yeah.
Where you can just go, how much is a fidget spinner?
Right.
Okay. So I can buy one for, excuse me, I don't know what a fidget spinner costs.
50 cents.
50 cents. So I can buy one for 50 cents. But if I land on a website that sells one for $1,000 and that's the one that I buy and they're drop shipping it from Alibaba,
right,
that's on me.
Exactly.
That's not on them.
Exactly. I feel like it's on you if you bought something that was overpriced.
Yeah.
I think it's genius. And you see a lot on TikTok of these like 18-year-olds that are like, I make $5,000 a month. And I'm like, good for you.
Man.
On the
side?
On the side.
That's a heck of a side hustle, especially for a teenager.
I know, but that's what they do. They go to AliExpress, they look at what's the most popular item being sold, and then they create a Shopify website and like SEO optimize the crap out of it.
They go to Fiverr and hire somebody internationally to do SEO for
$5.
Yeah.
Fiverr is also a very interesting economy.
I have used Fiverr before.
Have you? For what? What did you use it for?
Let me think. I've used it a couple of times. One was for a hand-drawn thing. I needed like a piece of art done for like a graphic, and I mean, it served its purpose. I paid $5, and it was like a unique done thing. I got the logo that I needed for I know I've used it for more things than that. It's been a long time though. I don't.
There's YouTube videos that. Oh yeah. Okay. Well, because they got caught up in the PewDiePie controversy there.
No, I know nothing.
Oh, back in the day, he paid this couple of guys $5, and they said, "We'll write whatever you want on this piece of paper, and we'll like do a dance for you." And so he got on there and was like, oh, "Okay," and he had written something. We call this the dark PewDiePie ages because it's like he wrote, I want you to write out death to all Jews and say PewDiePie is the best or something like that. He didn't think that they would do it, but they did it, and he showed it on his video, and they got kicked off Fiverr, which means they lost their income. He obviously was under fire.
Yeah.
And rightly so.
That got demonetized in a nanosecond.
Yes, and it started this whole adpocalypse thing. Like, it's one of the things that really kicked off the adpocalypse stuff.
Golly.
But
he needs not even like a wise person in his life. He just needs someone who's like...
He's much better now.
Average.
That was like 3 years ago. That was honestly 3 years ago.
Wow.
He's taking a break now. YouTube though, making money off YouTube, like this whole
you ran right over that joke.
What'd you say?
You said he's taking a break, and I said, did he have a stroke?
Oh no, he didn't have a stroke. You don't know how many stroke jokes have been made over the last few months. Devin's probably heard them all right now.
Well, you're interviewing a guy who hears David Hasselhoff jokes every single day of my life.
But it's interesting, this gig economy. It's not. I don't even know that it's a gig economy. I guess you could call Fiverr a gig economy.
I don't know what that means.
But a gig economy is like...
Oh, gig is in like just a very short-term job.
Yeah. So like freelancers. You have a lot of freelancers that are doing work. I mean, you can make a career being a freelance developer or a freelance designer for yourself online, doing Fiverr, going to Upwork.
99 Designs, those kind of things. Exactly.
Like you could do, the gig economy makes it available where you can work from home like I do, but I'm a salaried employee. Like I work for a company. But you don't have to nowadays. I mean, like if you have some skill, there's probably a way to monetize it online.
Yeah.
That could go in a very negative direction. But like, you know what I mean? Like you could, with web development, design and everything, it's interesting. And now you have the influencer economy where like you get sponsorships like from Petco or whatever else, right? Like it's crazy.
I know we were joking about this earlier. Who do you think though would be like in actual real life? Who do you think would be a potential sponsor for Men of Faith?
For Men of Faith?
Yeah.
I don't know. What's that one like? I don't know, like the Blaze Network. What's that like?
That's the one with
what's his name? The real conservative one.
Yes,
it's a Christian network or whatever. Like they're
the Blaze is Christian.
I thought so.
Why can't I think of that guy's name? Got like electric white hair.
Yeah.
And he's a little I would know it if I heard it.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, he was on Fox. No, it starts with an R. And I can't remember what his name is. Yeah, Jamie's looking it up.
Pull that up,
Jamie. Kevin's looking that up. But it's like Glenn Beck.
Glenn Beck. Glenn Beck.
That's who it is.
That is right.
Anyway, I feel like his network like sponsors things like this. I thought like the Blaze.
I have no idea.
Network. Anyway, so like they might be. I think there's the manscaping company that would totally be good for this.
There's the people that make the soap too. Their marketing is hilarious.
I haven't seen that one. Soap on a Rope?
No.
Hey, this is my brother. You want me to answer it right now?
Only if it's on speaker.
Hello?
Bro.
You're on the podcast. I'm in the middle of recording a podcast right now. And you're on speakerphone in the microphone. Is this about your dating life?
No.
Oh. Is it about our sister?
It is about our family.
Okay. We have a messed up family. Just so everybody knows.
It's probably not worse than mine.
Bet.
Are we about to air all our family stuff?
Tyler, I gotta go.
Dr. Squatch.
Dr. Squatch?
Yes, it is the name.
That?
It's like, it's a little bit crass.
Okay.
But it is more hilarious than it is crass.
I don't mind crass.
They primarily advertise on YouTube.
Okay. Good plan.
And their videos, they're golden.
Yeah.
The writing is great.
That's what this manscaping, Manscapes, I think is what it's called. And it's like...
Who was the one that, something along the same idea that sponsored that UFC guy, Derek Lewis?
I think that's the same company. I think we're thinking of the same company. Because they were selling like, order now for this like bag thing, and it's got like the razor and like the names for the trimmers and everything are hilarious. Like,
well, you have to be. You have to have a good
today. Yes, that's
kind of self-deprecating sense of humor if you're in that line of business.
Absolutely,
you have to.
But it sells. I mean, I've considered it. I'd rather get sponsored though. I'll use it.
There you go. That's where. That's probably where we need to stop that trail, because I can see this becoming an adult podcast very quickly if we don't take a hard left.
A couple of times in this podcast, we've already almost
Yeah.
with that line. But I think, like, I would be sponsored by them. Men of Faith. Like, I mean, it's the right market. The manscaping one.
So you'd be like, sponsored by Manscaped and the ESV Bible, Men of Faith.
Yeah. I had to do an ad or whatever. I'd be like, listen, let me tell you about my experience. We talk about experiences on this podcast. Oh, yeah. But I'm for the gig economy and the influencer economy. I think it works. At least now it does.
Yeah.
I mean, you got people that play video games for money now,
Yeah.
on Twitch all day, every day. Brad, the guy that I watch on Twitch almost every day, he's going through the Metal Gear Solid stuff. I mean, he's making enough money to support his family.
You know what? More power to him.
Absolutely. I know that there's this sense of like, well, that's not a real job. But it's enough for him to support his family.
If the check clears,
exactly.
It's a real job.
Exactly. Now, does it have insurance? No. Does it have retirement? No. But you could plan for those things.
Yes.
And if he is smart about it, he's doing that.
And if you're in that sort of industry, you certainly need to have an eye to the future of like,
absolutely.
Okay, there's an expiration on this probably.
Absolutely.
I need to be positioning at some point to be prepared for that.
I mean, not to go back to PewDiePie, it has been fascinating to watch him over this last decade. He's been doing this 10 years now, right? So it is rare to see someone stay on a social media platform for more than 5 years without just breaking. And now he has had some emotional breaks, and he's been very open about those, though. And I think that's, again, his authenticity. Like, he's not trying to hide anything. Now, is he a believer? No. Yeah. But he's talked about his views on religion, and like, he is himself, and I think that in and of itself is so rare.
Yeah.
Today. I don't know. I didn't want to go down this hole.
Go ahead.
But like, going back to the reason of this podcast is I originally wanted it to be a documentary to show the experiences of these men and everything. But then in February, going to that men's retreat, you were there too. And it was like, just seeing the actual authenticity of men is so rare in today's world, whatever you want to call it. And I think about like, I think a lot of people are starting to look for that and to want that. I think it's why Joe Rogan is so, and I think it's why PewDiePie's been around for so long, because they are just themselves and authentic. And I like, everyone wants to have an opinion and view, it seems nowadays, and no one wants to like give respect or credit to people that have been through certain experiences.
Oh, well, social media did that to us.
Absolutely.
Every person has a voice, and so they all want to feel valid.
But then, so I'm reading in Isaiah 55. It was yesterday morning, and I think I was talking to you and Phil about this yesterday. That it was just like, it just hit so hard. Like, it hit different when I read it. And I've read this a million times. My thoughts are not your thoughts. My ways are not your ways. And then I had written another note about Ecclesiastes 5 in there that was like, when you go into the temple and when you're going before God, be like eager to listen and not to speak. And it's just like, man, that hits hard for me, because it's like, there's some things in scripture that I don't want to believe. Like, I have a friend who is a very religious person, and like, that I'm just like, man, I really love this person, like, as a friend, and I want this person. Like, I don't want to believe that, like, my unbeliever friend, my atheist friend or whatever, are going to hell. I don't want to believe that. But who am I? You know what I mean? Like, like, it is. I think there's a sacredness that we've almost lost, because everyone in social media is just like, oh, I'll just find somebody that just believes my same beliefs, and I just won't even.
Well, so the world has changed in so many ways in like the last even 30 years.
Yeah.
But if you look back more like 50 years, people used to, particularly with the church, like if you moved cities, you're of of faith.
Yeah.
Then you go to a church that aligns with your beliefs.
Right.
And then over time you develop some sort of sense of belonging there.
Right.
That is not the way it works now.
No, not at all.
People find a place where they feel like they are part of things, where they develop a sense of belonging, and then over time they believe.
Yep.
And it's a different mentality these days.
And we're going through this study at Crossgate right now, and something that Devin's our life group leader by default, because I just said I didn't want to do it, and neither did anyone else. And Devin was like, "I'll do it." Like I know it's gonna be me anyway. But we're going through this book called Letters to the Church.
Francis Chan.
Yeah. And I've always really enjoyed Francis Chan. I have to watch myself because I almost like put him on a pedestal.
So you read something that he says and then just like go
Which
charge
is
the
why
mountain with
I've
it.
actually stayed away from any of his stuff for the last 3 years, because I was just like, I need to like...
Well, I think he's like moving internationally.
Well, he is
right?
now. Yeah, he's going to Asia next month, apparently. So anyway, in this book, he's talking about the church, and there's a part that he said that a college student came up and told him, and he was like, I feel like I got a bait and switch situation. He was like, I was told about this free gift, and it was basically like I was getting a pair of ice skates and that I could twirl and dance and everything else. But then once I get in here, it's like you told me I was a part of an ice hockey team and that I couldn't like do my own thing. Like I had to work towards something. And the guy was like fine with it over time, but he was like, it's honestly this thing where I got roped in almost, but like he understands it. Yep. But I think it's a good thing for our churches. Like we talk about this free gift and love and all this other, but we like shy away from the commitment of it.
So I have an ongoing conversation, it feels like, particularly with one friend that I've got in mind, but it seems like this is across the board a conversation that I'm having. It's almost like a Christian confusion between actual Jesus, like the Christ, the Messiah, and some version of an American Jesus.
Yeah. And
it's unfortunately common that folks have been sold a bill of goods that, okay, well, if you follow American Jesus, then he's going to help you find that special someone.
Right.
He's going to help you get out of debt.
Yeah, yeah.
If you have a physical illness,
gone.
Not anymore.
I mean, that did happen for me, but
he's also going to help you retire and live on a beach in some exotic location where you have no worries.
Yeah.
So a lot of people buy that. And my friend in particular, his story was he started going to a church, and this is in town. This is like in Hot Springs. So he's going to a church. He bought that Jesus and walked it out for a handful of years, and then went, I still don't have the hot girlfriend that you promised.
Yeah.
I still have a jacked up family. I still have all these things, so I don't buy it.
Yep.
When in actuality, Jesus never promised any of those things.
Yeah.
Was he capable of those things? Yes.
Yeah.
But is Jesus really concerned that we retire and live on the beach, a life for ourselves with no worry?
Yeah.
I don't think that's part of his missional idea for our lives.
He actually promises the opposite, right? He promises persecution.
It's a call to come and die.
Yeah,
it's not,
exactly. There's a burden about it.
So if you bought Fix My Life Jesus when the real Jesus is come and die, that is a bait and switch.
It's a burden and it's persecution, but it's part of an eternal story, and it's part of his body, which is eternal.
And I don't mean to say that and imply that it's a bad exchange.
Right. It's not a bad exchange, but
no, I feel like certainly what you receive in benefit.
Right. Yeah. But it's like we're ashamed almost of certain parts of Jesus, right? Like we almost try to hide it in a way in our churches until they're like, well, we don't want to show them that side of Jesus until they're a year in and they've gone through this study first, and it's like it's all there in the Word. Like, it's,
even if you just very simply, because I'm not very smart, so I have to look at Scripture So the guy himself, like the star of the story, is 100% innocent, and he's killed by the government.
Right.
And every single person around him is thrilled to tears about it.
Yeah.
And all of his boys didn't have his back.
No.
He's the star of the show. So if it ends that good for him,
why would we think? Expected, right?
Why would we think that?
But it doesn't end that way for him. Oh, I just Jesus juked you, didn't I?
You did.
But I think so. I also hear the sentiment of, well, if God is is a loving God, then why don't I have a hot girlfriend? Or like, why don't my family problems just go away? And going back to my thoughts are not your thoughts, my ways are not your ways. It's like, we can't even say that.
Well, I mean, there's a big assumption in what you said there that it is unloving to not provide those things.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
American Jesus, it is unloving.
Well, I think the fall, like, people, I guess, discount the fact that we've fallen, like, Adam and Eve screwed it up for all of us, right? Like, mankind is deprived. Like, there's just a depravity there that I think we just
not going backward.
Forget about. I don't know. Like, maybe we forget about it, or maybe we don't learn it in the first place. Maybe that's it. I mean, it took me a while. I mean, like, it was like in my 20s. I definitely didn't understand it as a teenager. I came to faith at 16, so it was like I didn't understand it in my teenage years for sure.
Yeah.
It was around my 20s that I started getting, okay, I'm understanding the heaviness of it and my need, and then I don't know. I think there's just a renewed sense of like there's something very sacred that I think social media has help us devalue the Word and have valued our opinions more. And I want to have less opinions, I think, this year. I think that's my thing. Is like I want to have less opinions, and I want to be more factual about the Word. And not pick at the Word, too, and be like, well, does fearing God here just mean respecting God? It's like, well, it's fearing God. Like, what would you do if you, like, Isaiah freaking went limp, right? Like, just at the mere glance, right? And he was just like, I think there was this one pastor who was like, by the way, this woe is me isn't like, oh, woe is me. It's like, what the F? Like, in that time, it was like the cursing way of being like, I am just, like, there is no other way of saying it. Yep. And he was just like, Isaiah was melted. That dude, he's just, he was gone. And he just couldn't contain himself.
So this is a sidebar, but I think that if your schedule can support it, you should start marking out a Thursday lunch thing to come to the seminary classes.
Yeah, so you're going through seminary lately.
Yes. I don't really remember.
Does he need to move closer to the microphone, by the way? No, he's good? Okay, cool. I just, you were far away. I didn't want to make sure.
Yeah.
But you're going through seminary, and it's through, where? What is it?
Well, technically it's the Antioch School of Leadership.
Okay.
But it's a unique model that is like done through local churches.
Gotcha.
So, and you can just attend the class, like buy the material and attend the class, or you can get an accredited degree through it as well. So it's kind of interesting.
I'm a seminary dropout after one semester.
It's not normal seminary, though.
I didn't enjoy seminary.
I think that you would enjoy this.
What's different about it? You talk about what's different about it. I'm going to get another drink.
Okay.
Good thing about being in my kitchen.
Convenient, certainly. Very convenient. So, most of us, the idea for, what you expect of seminary teaching is that there's a guy up front who's a talking head and a classroom full of people who are taking notes, right?
Right.
And at the end, you write a paper to prove... No, I'm good, thank you. At the end, you're writing a paper to prove that you've digested all the stuff that the talking head put out there.
Yes, that's exactly what my seminary is.
And in general, that means that there is agreement that the professor is the authority.
Right.
And that if you don't align with what he has taught, it is a problem.
Yeah, and especially it was like I was looked down upon because of my ignorance on certain things, and I felt like I was judged because I didn't understand. Yeah, like I was shamed, for sure.
So this format is Socratic discussion. And so you'll have like several passages that you're reading. You'll also have an article, sometimes up to 3 articles, but most of the time it's just 1 or 2. That sometimes the articles won't even agree.
Oh, sometimes. So differing views. So you're looking for differing views.
Yes, and so basically at the end of the day, the Scripture is the authority that we're ultimately looking at, but we're also taking these outside things and we're kind of throwing them all on the table, coming with our own convictions and beliefs about it.
Right.
And we duke it out. We fight to the death. And it's amazing.
Like in the classroom yard.
It's so the professor role is a facilitator. They're just guiding a discussion. So when you're going through the material, we literally cover 1 question every week.
How long is the class?
An hour and a half.
You're talking about 1 question?
1 question for an hour and a half.
Jeez.
But it's so fun.
We should go.
I'm sure that y'all could come audit the class sometime if you wanted to.
Yeah, just to come sit in. I'd love to at least experience that. It's the Jewish faith has. I learned this from my friend at work. They have a book that like was written very, very long ago, but it's actually like Jewish rabbis.
Pentateuch.
No, it's not like the Torah or whatever. No. But it's like these rabbis duke it out about certain parts of Torah and everything else, and they like talk about their differing views, and like it's a book that like complements other texts that they have.
Gotcha.
I find that interesting because we don't do that a lot of times in Christianity, or we do, but we do it in like we publish a Racing Hell book or something like, you know, and like there's Rob Bell versus Francis Chan, and it's like duped out that way. It's not like, hey, we're going to put this all together so that people can study it themselves and kind of come to a decision about this certain text and just be open about it and not to like bash each other or anything. It's simply to try to just understand.
And as like all-knowing but somewhat God-fearing Americans, right? We feel like we can read this English version and look at it through the lens of Arkansas in 2020, and we automatically know what it means.
Right.
You better have some cultural input. You better have some context in place.
There's definitely,
or you can abuse the thing.
How much do you think? How much do you think though that was preserved?
What do you mean?
I mean, so like the English version of it. Take fearing God, for instance. I think that's one that like I hear a lot of people talking about. Well, it just means to respect God, or it just means, and then, but like whenever it talks about fearing God, there's also words about trembling and about like, and it's like, okay, respecting doesn't mean trembling.
Yeah.
Like, fearing means trembling, and so it's like, how much do you think that the actual meaning of the text was preserved over years? Because the English version we have now definitely wasn't the original. There was a Greek, the New Testament, there was Hebrew for Old Testament.
I think the question is a little bit flawed.
Okay.
In that I don't think that it's that it has been like perverted over the years.
Right.
In any way. But just if you only read it plainly for the words in front of you, it wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Or it might make sense, but it points you in a wrong direction, or it makes it a thimble deep.
Right. You know? Yeah. Well, because you may have this own interpretation of it, right? Like And then you may start pulling gold tablets out of a hat and things like that.
Well, you can't look at it through your own eyes.
Right.
You have to look at it through
within the context.
A context.
Yes.
Who is this thing written to? And what was their purpose in writing this?
Right. What were they struggling with?
Yes. What was being written? For any one of Paul's letters, there's a very specific people. That it's written to. Yeah. Now, we can certainly pull things from it that are applicable to the Christian life. Yeah. But at the end of the day, those were letters written to a particular church.
Set of people.
Yeah.
Sometimes to individuals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's very interesting.
So if you don't keep those things in mind, man, you can get off the rails real quick.
I feel like,
and the language barrier too. I mean, it'd be the equivalent of, if 1,000 years from now somebody's reading a document about Facebook. Yeah. Facebook's going to be dead by then. Well, if you try to do a literal translation of that. Yeah. There's a book of faces that 5 billion people are on. Right. This thing that everyone is on must have been a library on its own. Right. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That wouldn't make any sense.
I wonder in 100 years what. I had this thought the other day. I'm going to throw this out there. Okay. Courtney said I'm weird.
It's your podcast.
And why I think about this. There will be a point at which you're thought of for the last time. Right? One day in the future, after you're dead, there will be a last time that someone thinks about you. Isn't that crazy? I don't know why I pulled this off the rails for that, but it did. Going back to what you were saying, I want to come back to Francis Chan. Okay. Because I think it's interesting that just lingered and just happened. Both of you are
I'm just letting you drive, man.
Both of you are that was the most random comment. Sorry. But his letters to the church I find interesting because I think it's his farewell text. The way that he's writing it is a very similar way I see Paul writing letters to the church and just saying hey, look, okay, I've been doing this a long time. I've been among a lot of you. Here's what I'm seeing. Here's what I think the church, big C, church needs to really be paying attention to. And by the way, I'm getting old and I may or may not hear from you again. You're here for me again. It's written in such a way that it's
keep
just
going.
very interesting.
I want to look something up real quick so I don't misquote.
And I think I want that to be the sense of this podcast almost. I really want men to be look, here's my experiences. Here's what I learned going through this. Here's where I would caution you coming up. So it'll be interesting to see how that comes out. But isn't it going to be crazy, in 1,000 years or whatever, to know what it'll look like? I'm getting so many text messages right now. Oh, my grandmother passed away on my biological father's side.
Do we need to stop this?
No. I don't really know them much. But that's why Tyler was calling me.
And that's why he got all weird about family stuff.
That's why he's I don't know what to say.
Well, do you need to...
No, I'm good. Let's keep going. Okay. What were you saying?
Well, what I was going to say is Paul sort of did the same thing. He wrote kind of in a farewell statement. I was trying to find it, and I couldn't, but there is a moment at which he says, hey, I've set my face toward Rome. Right. And this might be...
That was the end. A ballsy move to go to Rome.
I think it was kind of the center of the world, though.
Right, but
in so many ways,
didn't they run him out?
Well, he got run out of a lot of places.
Well, yeah,
there's a really great.
But Rome was actually one of the reasons Christianity spread, though, right? Because they tried to crush these Christian groups, but it ended up spreading everyone out, and then people were being told
because of persecution. Right, the church fractured,
and so for him to turn around and go back to Rome.
Well, he was in a unique position because he was a citizen too.
Oh, that's right.
So, anyway, all that to say, there was a point at which he's giving condolences as if he might not ever see these people again. And he leaves.
And that's it.
So Francis Chan might be looking at kind of his 2020 version of that farewell for I'm going on the mission. It might not end well for me.
Right. Well, that's what, because I did
hugs and kisses.
I think there was like December 29th or December 19th. I listened to like a 20-minute clip of him, and he was just like being interviewed, and he was like, "Listen, I feel like I've been fishing in the same pond forever. Like, and like now there's all these other people, thousands of other people in the pond, and every once in a while someone uses a new lure, and it's like, oh, let's all jump on and use that same thing." And like, he was like, and I get it. Like, we built houses on the pond. All of our kids are here, and we don't even go fishing much anymore, but like, we're still around the pond, so we're fine. And he was just like, I gotta get out of here. I get that in a sense of like one of the reasons I stepped back from leading worship was just like, I feel like I'm in the same thing. Like, it would take no act of faith or it would be very easy and comfortable for me to just continue doing this and continue making people believe that I was good, but like in a like very public way. I'm like, it doesn't interest me. Like, it doesn't challenge me at all. And you know me, I'm always like thinking of the next thing and like, what can we do? How can I get better? Because I don't know, being stagnant, I think would kill me.
I think that sometime you should come to my guys group.
Yeah?
I think you'd enjoy it.
Really?
I do.
Why is that? What do you do? Y'all like meet weekly or something?
No, it's really organic. I'd say it averages about once a month. But that's a little bit deceiving to frame it that way because we have regular life interactions more often.
Gotcha.
But
in terms of like a purposeful coming together or something.
Yeah, but it's not meeting based.
Right, yeah.
So the short version is I had a group of guys who some were involved with church but didn't feel really connected there, just for lack of a better term. They didn't. If they left, probably nobody would notice, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
All the way. So that's on one end of the spectrum. The other end of the spectrum is like, I'm okay with talking about Jesus, but I don't really buy that.
Right.
But I do need a safe place, like where I can just feel a sense of brotherhood.
Yes. Yeah.
So we are within those, boundaries. And we got to go the very first time. I smoked a brisket.
Nice.
Which is my new thing now, like smoking food.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's so much fun. So I smoked a brisket. We had some brisket tacos, and I just kind of like laid out, hey, I wasn't the only common denominator. So I invited some guys. One of the dudes who was gonna come said, hey, I've got this friend. I think I have some idea of what this is gonna be.
Right.
I have another friend who could really benefit from this. Can I bring him?
Yeah.
Sure. So this group of guys, most of which I knew, there was only the one that I didn't, and just said, listen, we all are at varying stages of belief or unbelief, but we all do need a sense of brotherhood and belonging. Let's start there.
Yeah.
And so we haven't done a whole lot of like Jesus talk.
Yeah.
We have done some.
Yeah.
But honestly, we're just trying to be completely our most honest self.
Right.
Unfiltered.
Yep.
So that's why I hate to say small group, because like so many expectations come with that. But like, it is not uncommon for me to hear the F word.
Right.
In a meeting, and nobody is offended by it, because that's how he talks in normal life.
Yeah.
So he's going to talk that way with us because this is normal.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm going to be honest. Most people are like that. I've found. I mean, I work with
but the boundaries though.
I know.
Of like, okay, well, I don't talk like that here,
right,
or with those people. We're trying our best to just
however
everything is uncovered when you are at your most comfortable self and you are most honest about it. Be that.
Yeah.
And now that we've done this enough that we've proven like that kind of mutual vulnerability.
Yeah.
Dude, it's so relieving.
Yeah.
And spouses aren't there. It's just guys at this point.
Yeah.
Which introducing spouses would change the dynamic, and I don't know that we could do the exact same thing. But
isn't it? Whenever I've done that, it feels natural, and I almost feel more connected to the body of Christ when I'm in that scenario than a lot of times when I'm in church.
Yeah.
I feel more connected, and especially if we're like talking about struggles we're going through, things we're going through, man, I just like, I'm at my wit's end with my kids, and
we have talked more about that sort of thing than the Bible.
Yeah.
And we'll get there eventually. But right now we're building trust with this group of almost strangers, you know.
And a lot of times there's a lot of people out there that will like, a lot of people on a college campus, and I did it a couple of times where it's just like just going and just getting straight to the point about Jesus. And there's definitely a time and place for that. And I think the Spirit leads people to do that at points. Personally, right now, in my experience, I've found it much easier to start a relationship with someone and go from there of introducing Jesus and really just showing them how I live and how I struggle with probably a lot of the same things that they do, right? But there is a difference in how I handle it a lot of times, and that they see that difference. And then there's sometimes that it's not, and they'll ask me a question like, okay, well, you handled that probably the exact same way, like, and I'll be like, you know what? I probably should have handled that different. I wonder, like, I probably should have done this, or like cooled off for a moment before I said this. Like, I think living, like doing life with people is a more natural way of extending the body and like earning people's trust and everything.
Yeah.
It just feels more natural. But there's a lot of people that are just like, no, like from day one, you just got to be like hammering the Bible down their throats. And I'm just like, I think
it comes back to that belong before you believe thing, man. Like,
yeah,
that's the way that people are now. Like I have to feel like you
part
and
of the
I,
tribe.
You and I belong together. We're part of the same brand,
right?
And if we're not,
it's all about brand.
But you know what I'm saying?
No, I agree. Yeah. I think there is some psychology there of like it is about brand and it is about like tribe.
So basically, our only rule for the meeting is
no chicks. Like this podcast. Well,
basically, just be you.
Yeah.
And so,
whatever that is.
Yeah, and you know, I actually think this is kind of funny. We are. If I paint with a broad brush, the group of guys they have some rough edges.
Yeah.
Okay. Probably much like a group of teenage fishermen would have that Jesus picked, but
yes, yes. You know, there's a lot of fart jokes on those boats.
in our first get together, something was said about Jesus, and a guy commented. He said, "If that's true, that's really good news." And another guy responded, filled with the Holy Spirit, said, "Hell yeah!" And we all laughed, but it was like that's as close as he knew to get to amen.
Yeah,
he heard something and he was like, "I buy into that. Yeah. I second that."
Yeah,
you know, I affirm the thing that you just said.
Yep.
And so that's kind of our running joke now. It's like,
hell yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of equivalent to amen.
I mean,
you know.
But it is, like you said, like that's as close as he knew how.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, I thought it was awesome.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't awesome because he said hell yeah. It's awesome because of what he was trying to express.
He was trying to
he did it in his voice.
Saying. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and I think so many people been out of shape about that. And we been out of shape about a lot of things. Like people get bent out of shape about drinking. People get bent out of shape about you know.
Do you want to do this right now?
We can definitely do this right now. You know I'm not afraid of
Just saying. It's your podcast.
I mean, like, there's alcohol.
You're going to start talking about DMT in a second.
Oh, gosh. We're going to go down the DMT route. DMT wasn't illegal in Canada until 2011.
Eject, Matt. Eject.
We're losing them. No, I think, like, there's just a lot of things that are trivial that I don't think are worth the energy. That, and then social media. It kind of keeps coming back to this, but I think, like, social media has allowed us to overstep our bounds so easily. Like the church, when you look at it, I mean, they were a community of people, and there were lots of them. There were lots of different pockets, right? Like, it wasn't this just huge mega church of people that was meeting and things like that. They would have congregations at certain points.
There are glimpses of
that. Glimpses, but the week to week, it was among each other and things like that, and they probably had different, like, groups, life groups within the bigger ones and things like that.
There was definitely still a gathering at the synagogue.
Yep.
That was Christian, that was not Jewish. You know?
Right.
That was definitely still... So there was a larger...
gathering.
Corporate?
Yeah.
Maybe the word? Larger corporate gathering?
Yeah.
But certainly not absent of shared table.
You know what I love watching in the Bible is Peter and Paul going at it.
Bro, there's lots of fights in there.
Paul
at one point washes his hands of John Mark.
Yeah.
And he's like, not doing that again.
Yep.
And it comes full circle. They end up making peace by the time the book is over. But
that's so real life.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's just friends that I'm just, like, there's just one of my best friends and I, all throughout knowing each other until we were actually, like, married and everything, we were on again, off again friends all throughout. And even when Courtney and I started dating, she didn't even meet this guy until, like, we were almost married, because then we got back together, he and I. Like,
you
and
got
it's just
back
like,
together?
yeah, we got back together. Like, he's one of the best friends and everything. But, like, there for the longest time, we were just on again, off again, and just at each other. And now we've kind of, like, stopped being foolish in our younger years and been like, okay, yeah, we're friends. We're just going to be over each other now. Like, we're not going to be, like, trying to one up each other or things like that. But it's almost like that. Like, you see that in Scripture, and that is real life. And I think a lot of people think that the Bible's just filled with, like, these perfect people and everything else. I'm like, these people were rough.
Jacked.
Yes.
Jacked up. Which is actually encouraging.
Yeah.
I mean, that's hope-giving.
Yeah.
That they were all
human.
Yeah.
Yeah. We should dig into those sometime, about the times where people fought in the Bible and how they handled it.
There's also times when people weren't fighting, but where people got significantly injured that are pretty cool too.
Ooh.
Like in Judges. Some craziness in Judges.
Isn't it in Judges that the donkey says something about, like, the donkey? Well,
Balaam's donkey?
Something. Yeah.
I don't think so.
No, he talks. He says something.
Yeah, I'm just saying I don't think it's in Judges.
Oh, was it?
But in Judges, there is there's like the traveler who stops to stay in this lady's tent.
Yeah.
And she drives a tent spike through his head.
Ooh. You know
that's in the Bible.
You know that had to hurt. I love
it. Didn't hurt very long, though.
Of not very long. I love the story of, it wasn't Isaiah. It was one of the prophets. Anyway, he's like going. He was a bald man. He's going.
Yeah.
And these, like, 42 kids were over there calling him, like, "Go on there, Baldy!" Like, messing with him. And then 2 she bears, very specifically KJV, you see 2 she-bears came out of the woods and mauled all 42 children, and he just keeps going.
That's like the ultimate mic drop.
Like,
oh yeah?
that is terrible. 42 kids just gone and mauled to death. You don't mess with the prophets, man.
What do you think that he was doing when that happened?
I said he was just walking along the road.
No. I'm saying like...
Oh, watching?
So he calls down bears, right?
He's got a sandwich in his hand.
Well, no, is he just like, I told you, suckers?
Yeah, like is he trash talking like you do on Call of Duty? Like, yeah, what now? What?
Or is he compassionate?
He's just eating
is he like,
sandwich?
I didn't want it to come to this, guys. But you crossed the line.
2 she-bears.
I'll tell you one thing. No kid in town trash talks you after that.
No. Speaking of balding, I've been using this stuff to reverse it. Can you tell? You probably can't. We haven't.
It's been a while since I've seen you.
But it's working.
Fair.
Courtney can tell.
Okay, so I don't want to dox him, but I have a friend who has been balding for quite a while.
Yeah. Is it me?
No.
Okay.
And eventually went to like shaving his head. I saw him recently, and he had a hairpiece. It looked so good. My mind was blown.
Well, they
because when I saw him, I was like, and I didn't want to make fun of it.
Does he still have like side?
He still grew out the sides.
Okay, because I've seen that.
But
I
saw it.
They shave your head in like a very like monk looking way, but then they put this hairpiece on, and it stays. Like looks good.
I was genuinely blown away because if I did not know that was not his hair,
you watch
I wouldn't have thought anything about it.
Like, and you don't like, you can't really tell.
So,
and then I think like after a little bit, you go back and you like get it redone or whatever.
Yeah, I think he said his like glued and taped on some way, but like he wears it in the shower.
Yeah,
it's semi-permanent.
Yeah.
Anyway, blew my mind.
Yeah, there's actually a lot of stuff, a lot of like new products around.
You remember there used to be like an as seen on TV thing where they'd like just basically spray
on hair. Yeah. I mean, like, it's interesting stuff like that like people in the 50s were like, 2000 is going to be like this. and like, if only they could look forward in time and be like, oh, it's kind of disappointing, but like kind of cool. Okay, self-driving cars. I see you.
Yeah.
My son wants to build a self-driving truck.
He can build one for me. I need a car.
Yeah. Well, he wants a Tesla real bad. It's I love watching him grow up because he's now getting in this stage where he's like, I want to invent things, and he invents the most useless things right now, right? Like, but I'm like, bro, that's a good idea because then you could use it for this. He goes, yeah, and I could add this to it if I wanted to be able to do this, and I'm like, I want to like fan the flame in that mentality. Because then he's like, I just don't know how to build it. And so then...
And how old is he now?
He's about to turn 7.
Okay.
And my next... Like, what I've been saying to him lately is like, well, think about it. Think about what you would need to build that thing. He goes, well, I need this and I need this. And I was like, let's go to YouTube. Let's see if anybody else has done it. And he's like, oh. And now he's like, okay, I need a computer chip. And I'm like, okay. Like,
I need an erector set and a 7-iron.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, we can use a Raspberry Pi. That's what we have. Yeah. And so, like, we can do some machine learning. And so it's interesting to how his mind works. But I remember my mind working like that. But, like, my parents didn't know what to do with that. You know, they were just like, here's a computer.
Listen, Reno, take down a note that once we go off air, I've got a business thing I want to throw at you. I just don't want to talk about it on the internet.
Done. You get that internet? We're hiding secrets.
Hang on. I have an opportunity here. My wife is calling me.
Speaker. Only on speaker.
Hey, sweetie. Full disclosure, you are on the podcast right now.
What are we talking about?
We have talked about so many things. The main one of which, Matt's grandmother has passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, he says it's not a big deal.
Well, I mean, I feel like it's maybe a big deal, but maybe it
was like somebody passed. That's a sad thing.
What is implied, I think, is that he wasn't like particularly close with her. So.
Oh, okay. Well,
he sort of agrees. Anyway,
what you doing?
Well, I am driving back from Red Light Roastery. I'm going home. I was gonna go get the oil change, but it's too gross outside, so I'm going home.
All right. Are you going to build a fire?
If by build a fire you mean turn on the gas inserts on our other fireplace, then yes.
That's not what I was talking about. That doesn't count.
I thought build a fire was maybe some code or something.
Be building a fire for you when you're done with your podcast.
Yeah.
What? No, I don't think that you want me to. I feel like you would get stressed out if I tried to actually make a fire at our house.
No, we don't live far from a fire station, so.
This is true. This is also true.
Anyway, well, I'm gonna go so we can keep our conversation going. But I love you. Bye.
Hey, I love you. Bye. Bye now.
Bye. Yeah. Well, we haven't even touched on the one of the main attractions either. I'm going to check something to make sure I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. But maybe we can save it for next time. I don't know.
I don't know what the main attraction is you're referring to. So
the United States of Mars.
Oh yeah, I feel like that's a deep dive if we go down that one.
Mm-hmm. And I don't got the time now. But thanks for coming on.
Yeah. Did we check all of the big boxes that you wanted to for this conversation? Yeah,
I think really like I like having you push to keep me accountable on things in front of them and be like, where the crap are you? Like, what is this? What are you doing with your life? And then also we just have great conversations.
So I think the next time that we do this, we need a literal checklist.
Yeah.
To like, these are the big things.
I mean, I had the checklist.
You literally had a blank piece of paper in front of you.
Well, I had the checklist in my mind.
That doesn't count.
You don't count. I'm just kidding. You count.
It doesn't count when it's in your head because then I can't hold you accountable to it.
Well, that's true. I texted you.
Yeah, but what you texted me was like, yeah, we'll talk about whatever. We'll figure it out.
See, this is why Devin's here, because Devin always like, maybe we should talk about what we're going to talk about before we just jump into it. And me, I'm like, let's just sit down and have a conversation. There's an in-between there. I think it's like a small list of topics that keep me on the right path.
Gotcha.
You and we have more I think more informal conversations. I don't necessarily have an agenda, and I'm actually more looking for you to like interview me almost, of like being like, yeah, so like what's happening? And then obviously I love our squirrely conversations.
Like an hour ago.
Oh well, no for next time.
I don't know how long we've been going.
But yeah, I think the other ones I'm always like more ready for.
Yeah,
in a sense. I like the kitchen, though. I think we're going to keep this.
I like it. It's comfortable.
Yeah.
There's more elbow room.
There is more elbow room. That was the thing with my office. Also, we may be getting rid of my office. We're looking at, like, adoption. And I had the idea last night. I was like, if you can give up your reading nook in our bedroom, I can move my desk to the bedroom, and then my office would be free.
So how much time do we have left for this?
Whatever amount of time you want.
So are y'all thinking on the adoption page, or are y'all thinking about like going the local through the state route, or y'all thinking a private adoption, or y'all thinking international?
Courtney thought about like foster adoption. She thinks Brody wouldn't be able to handle it very well if fostering. Like we were fostering and then we weren't able to adopt. I think both Brody and her wouldn't be able to handle it well.
Oh, it's awful.
Like after losing Jet and everything, like it's still a loss that'll like go on for our whole lives, that being felt.
Lindsay and I had a miscarriage that would have had a birthday just a few days ago.
Yeah, Jess was just a few days ago. No. That was when we found out about the miscarriage, but his was in August. So I don't know, like personally, we're still talking through it. But personally, I'm like, I'd rather do private adoption.
Just to have a safeguard for what that loss might feel like.
Yes.
Gotcha. I understand that
maybe
completely.
that's selfish. I don't know. But I
mean, full disclosure, foster care is probably the most like rewarding ministry that I've ever been part of, but it's also the most thankless.
Yeah.
And I mean, when I hear people talk about it or like say, "Hey, I'm kind of curious about it."
Yeah.
If you're gonna do it, you better be sure that there is a deeper conviction about it,
right?
Because it is terrible.
Yeah.
When a child has to go back home,
right?
Whether it's a good situation or not that they're going back into, your feeling of it is a feeling of loss, but it's not like a miscarriage or a death.
Right.
It's something that like you just can't.
Yep.
Like somebody who has some kind of a mental health issue, unless you have been there, it's really hard to articulate what the feeling is like.
Yeah, I don't know if we would be prepared for that.
Yep.
And so maybe there's a part of me that's like trying to safeguard us from that. I don't know. But one thing is for sure that wasn't for sure, when was it? A year or two ago when I got snipped, was like we do want a third. We want to have a third child that is like here with us. Like we have Jet, but like a child here with us, a third, and like Brody's always wanted a brother, and we're like kind of leaning towards boy.
Gotcha.
Because we don't think Sadie can handle having another girl in the house. And so, but I want to keep them all within the same age. And so that's why we were thinking about like, in 4 years. But I'm just like, I'd rather keep them closer to age as well.
I just had a flashback to, we talked about your surgery.
Yeah.
The last time that you and I got together.
Yes.
And we recorded a brilliant podcast.
Yes.
That did not get recorded.
Yeah, the audio did not get recorded. The video was all there. We were having the grandest time.
You know what we should have done in hindsight? We should have done bad lip readings.
Write that down. We're doing bad lip readings of our episodes at some point, for sure.
Do you think that Mickey Mouse and Donald could do?
Definitely.
That was a pre-show joke.
Yeah, using Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck voices in a way that you typically would not. But I was like, I can't, we just, but I think it's really, part of it was risky for Courtney to have another child.
Gotcha.
And so I cut myself off of it again because I think it was probably some selfish thinking a little bit, maybe in hindsight, because I was like, I don't want to put her at risk.
That's not selfish.
Well, but like
you literally said to not put her at risk.
Well, but but her point of view may have been like, I want to try again.
Oh.
I don't. So that's why I'm saying, like, in hindsight, it may be a little selfish in how I was thinking about that, and like. So I wanted, but she and I both agree. Like we were both in agreement for me to do this. So it wasn't like, but
I was gonna say, you probably should have talked about that before.
No. And we did. And she was like, no, like she told me, I want you to have this. Gotcha. And she came to that conclusion herself. I didn't want to force that. I wanted her to come to the conclusion before I did anything. Yeah. So it's like, but again, like personally, I feel like it, in hindsight, was a little selfish. Because now that her health isn't at risk for having a child, like we can adopt, I'm like, yeah, I do want to have a third child.
Other child?
Another child.
Oh,
a third child. A third child. I said a third.
Gotcha.
A fourth? A third? I don't know. How do you say that? That's one of those weird things.
Whichever way you say it is right.
Yeah, is right. Yeah. But I'm excited about it. Like, it's like, I don't mind. Courtney was like, yeah, but you like have to give up your office. I'm like, to be honest, as long as I've got my desk in the corner of our room, I have enough room for things. I don't need like that background thing where I've got all my like bookshelf of knickknacks. Like, I could pack it up.
Are you just primarily working from a laptop?
Yeah. And I've got my screen. I've got 2 monitors that I hook my laptop up to.
I was going to say, if you don't...
But I like having that set up. But I could have that set up in my bedroom in the corner of the...
I was going to say, we have like kind of a common workspace at my office that...
Do you really?
Is...
Bro,
maybe 6 or 7 minutes from here. Maybe.
Yeah. I may come...
You could totally
do that sometime. But I like... So we're thinking about that. We're talking about that. That's exciting.
It is exciting. Exciting and scary, too.
Yeah.
In some ways.
Yeah. But, so I'm excited to see where that is. We tried to explain to Brody what orphans were and, like, the situation that they were in. Because he kept going... He's always talking about, like, I want to have a baby brother. And we're like, well, look, if we do have another boy or girl, it's, like, not going to come from mommy.
Yeah.
It's going to come from another mommy and daddy that aren't able to support, and so they come and join our family. And he was just like got the blankest stare. He's like, but I can like take care of them, like I'll help. And I was just like, okay bud, like
it's a tough concept for kids.
Yeah,
I mean, and we're trying.
I think he just wants to love, you know. Yeah. Like at the end of the day, he's just like, I just want like for him, he's like, I want a baby brother. I want to have someone. He'll do it with your kids, Devin. Like he'll walk around with Ben, being like, "Oh, okay, Ben, let's help." Like, and he'll just like give him toys to play with and baby them. Like he's got Courtney's heart like that. Like Sadie's got my heart, where she shuts herself in her room and just wants to be left alone a lot of times. And she'll let you know if you're messing with her and she doesn't want you to be around her. She's like, go away.
And how old is she?
She's 3.
Yeah. My daughter is 5, and she is Lindsay repackaged. And the number of times that she has put her hand on her hip and given me that look of like she's not wearing glasses, but it's like she's looking over the top of them to look at me.
The sass.
She's 5.
She's the sass.
5. She came downstairs the other day. She was wearing like a Disney princess dress of some sort. I don't know all of their names, but it's a Disney. We've got 1,000 of them. She came downstairs and I said, "Oh, sweetie, you look so beautiful." And she goes, "I know."
Yes, that is Sadie.
Which on one hand, I'm like, I'm glad that you know that, sweetie.
I'm glad you're confident.
I'm glad that you have that level of security.
Yeah.
Let's do our best to keep fostering that. But on the other hand, I'm like,
let's be a little humble.
Yeah. What do you mean you know?
Yeah. Sadie's just like that. I'm like, oh my goodness, your hair is beautiful. Yeah. Another fun thing I do, it's like I tell Brody at night, I'll be like, "Good night, love you, you're my favorite son," and he'll say, "You're my favorite dad," and he doesn't understand that like he's my only son here, like and so like and I'm his only dad, and then but I'll tell it to Sadie too, and I'll be like, "You're my favorite daughter," she goes, "Yeah." And I was like,
I have a ritual with Camp where Camp is my son. I have a ritual with him where when I'm leaving the house and I'm giving him a hug, I'll get down and like look him eye to eye and I'll say, "All right, buddy, Daddy's leaving the house while I'm gone. You're the man of the house around here, okay? So you got to protect Mommy and Sissy." And he's like, "Okay, Daddy,
I got it."
Yeah.
That's funny, man.
And in his little brain, he's really like he's ready to go to war.
Protector, man. Yeah. I feel like Camp would protect. Like when he gets older, he's gonna be a good protector. I feel,
bro. He will turn 4 in March.
That's crazy.
And this morning I was changing his clothes. He's had a resting 6-pack for a year.
Brody does too.
And when I was helping him get clothes on for school today, and when he took his like pajamas off, right here in between, there's like where you can
muscle
see
definition.
You can see muscle separation in the middle. And I'm not. This is God's honest truth.
Yeah.
And I was going, there are people who work out for decades.
Yeah. To get that.
To try to get.
Yeah.
What you just genetically have.
Yeah. I don't know where Brody gets it too, because I obviously don't have that. I mean, I was super skinny until college.
Yeah.
But like Brody, I mean, I was built the same way, but I never had abs like he does. Like he is just resting abs.
Yep.
I'm like, all right, I call him little baby 6-pack a lot of times.
In camp, it's not because he's like skinny. He eats everything.
Yeah.
He's not
constantly moving though.
Yeah. He is that.
I mean, that's the way Brody's just constantly like, whoa. We get it out at basketball now though. Yeah. Yeah.
We got a couple of track stars at our house. Just, all the time. All day, every day.
Yep. All right. Well, I think this is a good end.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming, talking. I'm sure I'll have you on in 6 more months.
Okay.
Like that. Check in again.
So the next one will be conspiracies and.
Let's do that episode next.
Okay.
Have you come on, because you and I have conspiracy theory conversations all the time.
Yes.
And we've got some pretty good ones.
Yeah.
And then maybe we can talk about our plan. Maybe we can talk about our plan.
If we're ready to go public by then.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, you're driving this thing. So.
Well, thanks for coming on again.
Glad to do it.
Later.
Ladies and gentlemen.